if you were to meet a high school kid and they're standing in front of a recruiter's office and they're wondering, you can tell they're thinking about it. They're thinking about it. What would you tell them? One, go ahead. You just
Stay away.
stay away.
Don't sell your soul. Don't sell your body. Don't sell your conscience. Don't sell your dignity.
Mhm.
There's better ways to give back to humanity. There's better ways to give back to your country. It's a scam, and you're going to be complicit, excuse me, in the worst crimes ever perpetrated in human history.
How do you really feel? Does,
Right.
so, all right, Larry, what would you tell somebody, a young person?
I mean, Juan really got it right there. That's all you got to say. I've actually been asked when I was in DC, I was asked, weirdly enough, if this individual should join the military. They were considering the Navy, and I told them, well, the military does provide you benefits, as it provided me, access to the GI Bill, insurance. I was able to learn a trade that I could use, after my service, the stability factor, and then I've been able to travel because I moved out to Spain. But with knowing all of that, you also have to take into consideration that you might be asked to do something that is highly against your morals. And it's, as long as it's lawful under what they consider lawful, you have to comply. If you don't, then you face repercussions.
Mhm.
And so I think you kind of have to sacrifice your morals to join. And whether you're, aware of that or not, doesn't matter to the military. They're signing you up anyways as soon as you walk in. So I think that's what I would just say is the same thing. Is just, are you willing to sacrifice your morality for serving the United States government rather than the people?
Okay. Are
You
you
know,
planning
something
to?
that I would add,
Oh,
something that I would add, and now that we're talking about, giving back, it's also this idea of, I mean, look where our veterans are at in this country. Look at the veteran community. So I would even say, like, even if you're willing to compromise your humanity, your dignity, your conscience, you're still not guaranteed those benefits. I mean, the veterans, homelessness crisis in this country, suicide rates. I meet so many veterans, and a lot of them have been just given the short end of the stick, and are, used and abused by the VA. And so that goes to show that even for active duty members who are sent to die in these senseless wars, even if, an act of self-immolation is sort of brushed underneath the rug, even veterans that did the 20 years that, showed up for work, they're still being thrown under the bus. So this is just an enterprise that no one should be associated with. You're really playing yourself at the end of the day. Sorry, I just wanted to throw that out there.
That's a
oh,
good one. We
thanks.
always used to make sure that people understood that veterans have roughly double the risk of suicide of non-veterans.
Yeah,
And in women, it's even greater.
yeah. So, Joy, if you're speaking to a high schooler, do you have a different take than the gentleman here?
It is a little bit different just because, some of the people I've talked to, you know, they they might agree on Palestine and they might agree on Gaza, but they might not necessarily agree with my views on deterrence, and military force, which, you're welcome to have your own opinions on how effectively that works. And I
We might
actually,
see over in the next couple of months. Oh,
we might have some firsthand experience.
Hey,
All that to say. I actually did have a conversation with somebody who was considering going into the military, for medical school. And, this person was, hard set on entering the military. And honestly, at that point, sometimes telling them all these things about the military, all it really does is kind of shut them off to the conversation. And I was in that same headspace when I was in high school. Someone had told me all the things that wanted, not to say that Juan and Larry said bad things, but if someone had come up to me while my mind was already set on the military, I probably would have just either at the very least, I would have blown them off. At the very most, I might have felt, offended at what they were trying to tell me. Um, so I guess, what I would tell a high schooler, putting aside backgrounds, putting aside why they're going in, blah, 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 blah. I would just tell them to, the best thing you can do for yourself while you're entering is educate yourself. You got a lot of time to figure out exactly what you're getting yourself into. You got a lot of time to figure out what your other options are. This person I was talking to, of course, they're set on the military, but they were going to enlist in the army. And, they didn't realize that, and they're trying to go for med school, and they didn't realize things like ROTC exists. They didn't realize that maybe they realized the academies existed. I'm not sure, but ROTC is a program as well. And it's like, if you are that dead set on joining the military, make sure you understand within the military what opportunities there are for you, so that they don't say, all right, you're in the infantry now. Go hunker down in this sand bunker over here in the Middle East, while you try and do med school virtually, because that's the only way we're going to let you go. So, like I said, the military is a predatory force, and I think that's just common sense. They'll make a lot of promises, particularly to the enlisted folk. They'll make a lot of promises about what can and can't happen. And, in some cases, there's some grain of truth. It can happen. Just normally after you've spent some years already, being out in situations that you don't want to be a part of. So the best thing you can do is educate yourself.
Right.
Figure out what it is you're going to be a part of. Figure out how to get to what your goal is that you want it to be. Because otherwise, you find yourself in a bad situation, find yourself asking, what could I have done differently? And then all of a sudden, all of these opportunities, all these different paths you could have taken exist, but it's too late for you. So
Yeah.
that's the only thing I would probably tell a high schooler. Some of the things I did tell a high schooler is to educate yourself. And I think that's the best thing anybody can ever do before making a decision.
Excellent. It's nice to know that recruiters haven't changed, because the recruiter in 1968 told me, don't worry, join the Navy and you won't have to go to Vietnam. And oops, that didn't work out.